So talk about people it's hard to follow, and one person I now realize who's hard to follow is someone who's in radio. They're very good at modulating their voices and bringing you in through pauses in certain ways. So I'll try to do a little bit of that. I want to say it's an honor to speak at an event about civic engagement. People live in towns, we live in cities, in the countryside, but it's when we come together to discuss things and then to decide things that we really show our strength as a group. And that's one way to think of our representative democracy, whether the group is a school board, or the legislature, or a Congress. I think these democracy ideas, as Bob mentioned, I was a political science student as an undergraduate, and our democracy works best when people take part, even when it's messy. By contrast, if we stand apart, we stand alone from these meetings and organizations and what happens in the city, state, and country, it means, well, it's easy on the one hand, but to oversimplify democracy, if we're not part of the solution, then we're part of the problem. Well, all these different meetings and organizations, now, nobody here has time to go to all of those things and really take part and know what's going on. So that's where journalism is supposed to step in. It tells you what's going on so that you can keep on working on the tasks that are important to you. So what happens when journalism gets infected with news that just isn't real? Well, I think you came today because you want to hear about fake news. It's a topic I'm certainly interested in. I think a lot of us are the last several months. Something I'm looking forward to talking about today, and I have some examples to walk you through. I want to try to explain a little bit about at least what I think it is, what it is not, and some people wonder, why do we allow it to exist in the first place? But before we do, I want to share a short quote from the president on a topic on the believability of newspapers. "Nothing can now be believed which is seen in a newspaper. Truth itself becomes suspicious by being put in that polluted vehicle." You'll probably tell from those words it's not the current president. In fact, they were spoken 210 years ago by President Jefferson, proving that this dip into questionable sourcing is nothing new in America. Hoaxes, what we might call fake news now, but wouldn't have been called it that then, have been around as long as there's been printed material. So let's start with a recent example of fake news, something you might have seen. This is from earlier this month, right? I wasn't aware of this. So where does this come from? I thought that rising gas prices are what I would have to worry about, that prices are going to go up on bacon. So everyone freak out. That's a nice, well-considered news headline, right? America is running low on bacon. Pig farmers can't keep up with the overwhelming supply of frozen pork belly. Well, that's interesting, and if you like bacon, probably worrisome too. But if you're the kind of person who is actually interested in this, and you might think to yourself, well, if I'm looking for commodities information, do I usually turn to Men's Health magazine? Probably not. Well,